Something like 3/4 of people describe themselves as committed recyclers, and yet when they get into the office they find that they can't recycle, and that's very frustrating for people. A lot of the reason for that is because people are obviously freer at home, and so they're able to make decisions for themselves as to what lights they're going to turn on and off, how much they're going to fill up their kettle. There's also a bit of a business culture thing, so where businesses are unaware of not just the environmental but also the economic benefits of making more sustainable decisions, cutting waste, turning off lights and that kind of thing, then it's much harder to stick your neck out as an individual employee and say, well, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, we should be being more sustainable. But there's also a role for government in making it easier for businesses. A lot of companies, for example, find that there just aren't any waste companies in their area that will collect recyclable material, and so they have to put out all of their rubbish mixed, and that's obviously very frustrating for them. It's vitally important that we address the amount of waste that comes out of the business sector. People are very keen, very motivated to cut back on environmental waste at home, as we can see, but when they get into the workplace they find it very much more difficult to do that. That has a lot to do with businesses not being aware of the economic benefits of cutting down on waste, whether that be through lights or through excess heating, and they can make massive savings by insulating properly, by cutting down on paper waste, by reusing things. The government estimated itself that UK business could save up to £6.4 billion just by taking either low or no cost steps to cut down on waste. That's about the same amount as money as has been talked about with this national insurance hoo-ha recently. So it's a bit of a mystery really why there hasn't been much more of an effort by government to make businesses aware of how they can cut down on waste and benefit not just the environment but their own bottom line. Given the economic climate, it's absolutely realistic. It's even more important now that people realise, businesses realise, that not only will they be saving the environment by cutting down on waste, they'll be saving their own bottom line, they'll be saving money. If you invest now a little bit to insulate, then you are going to be saving yourself, you'll be insulating yourself from rises in gas, electricity prices, heating prices in future. And with increasing competition for scarce resources in the world, we're only going to be looking at prices going up for a lot of these things. So it makes business sense now of all times to be investing in cutting your waste, and many of the steps that businesses can be taken, of course, are low or even no cost. Things like telling your employees to turn off their computers. Employees can take a lead in their own workplace by encouraging their colleagues as themselves to print on both sides of the page, turn off lights, turn off the computer when you're not using it. That will save the business per computer. It will cost them £15 a year instead of £50 a year when that computer is left on 24/7. There's a lot of practical things and easy things that people can do in their office. Sometimes it's hard for people to stick their neck out a little bit at work and say we need to be greener. For those sorts of people, it's interesting and useful for them to think about what are the financial benefits of doing this. I just gave one, which is turning off your computers will save you a significant amount of money. But beyond that, there's only so much a business can do. Government also needs to regulate to make sure that businesses have green opportunities to hand. So government is responsible for setting the economic context in which the cost of home insulation and business insulation is, for example, or ensuring that waste companies will pick up their recyclables. Waste is only going to get more expensive as the cost of sending waste to landfill goes up and up and up. If you're a company that's putting out rubbish to go to landfill, then you're going to have to be paying more and more for that. But if you're able to send it to recycling as far as possible as well, then that ought to be much cheaper for you. But only the government can really make sure that that happens. Well, Green Office Week is a welcome awareness raising exercise, particularly aimed at businesses and office employees, to bring attention to the economic as well as the environmental benefits of cutting waste at work, of being more sustainable at work, which means doing things that harm the environment less, wasting less, being more efficient, being more ecologically considerate, you might say.